Hi, Oliver. So what do you think's in this box we got?
Hi, Pam. I think that is a work that has been a long time in the making. So let's see what's in there.
Okay, of course we're joking. We know what's in that box, but this is exciting stuff. It's been a long time coming.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's see it.
Here it is. Here's one.
Oh my gosh. And we've seen what the cover would look like digitally, but to see it in person is actually quite exciting.
I actually really like the picture with the mountain climber up on top because it does feel like we've been climbing a mountain sometime. And I know Bob Marzano refers to that as the rarefied air. And I think this book really captures that story of the rarefied air in terms of becoming a personalized competence-based system. So
Yeah, I think it's really a field manual if people choose to use it that way. How do you think people will use this, Oliver?
I think, when we started our journey, there was very little literature in the field, very little examples that we could use. We talk about that in the book. I think now there's a lot more resources that people can call on. But what's different about this is the complete journey from when we started this back in 2009, 2010, in terms of implementation up until just this past school year. So it really gives a picture of the long-term commitment that schools and people need to have to really make this work.
Yeah, and do you think they need to follow it? Anybody who reads it word for word, or
No, I think everybody's context is going to be different. So this is an example from one school district, Westminster Public Schools. So I think they're going to take the pieces that make sense to them and run with those pieces. And that's what I would recommend that they do, because they are not Westminster Public Schools, but they could absolutely learn from the Westminster journey.
Yeah, everybody's pond is a little bit different, and I would never be so arrogant as to say this is the way. I think this is the good, the bad, the ugly, and it brings some lessons that I hope would help others on this journey.
And I'm glad you mentioned the ugly, because we've never been afraid to talk about the problems that we've had on this journey, which we refer to as the ugly. And there was plenty of them as we set out on our journey. There was always a new problem to solve the next day when we showed up to work. And, it's job security.
Well, I think more than that, it was a lot of sleepless nights because systems change is not an easy thing. And this is a book about changing an entire system, not just changing one school, although you can certainly glean lessons from that in this book, but it is about a whole systems change.
I would agree with that, and I would like to acknowledge Westminster Public Schools itself, its leadership, but also the teachers, the students, and the community in general. I mean, we met with a lot of parents
We did.
to really set the foundation for this work, and they're very, very supportive, and they showed that all the way through. So
We believe this is a great way to educate kids and accelerate them when they need it, and to also fill in those gaps when they need that too.
And we're not saying that the journey will be easy, but it'll definitely be worth it.
Let's make sure that people know where they can get it if they're interested, and I hope they are. You can certainly get it on MarzanoResources.com, Amazon.com, and our podcast, TheEntrusted.com.
If you're interested in learning more about the work that was completed here, feel free to contact myself, Pam, Brian, or Jeni, or through Marzano Resources, and we'd be happy to dig deeper into the work. Thanks.